Hi guys, welcome to this video on Act 3, Scene 3 from Macbeth. And in this scene, we're going to see the murder of Banquo. So if you cast your minds back to the previous scenes, Macbeth has contracted out this murder to 3 convicts. Like 3 people who he says are in prison because of Banquo, and that Banquo is the cause of all of their problems. So they go off to kill him and his son Fleance. Macbeth wants to end the prophecy that the witches gave to Banquo. So the scene starts with the 3 murderers discussing the night and their ideas for murdering Banquo. Then Banquo and Fleance arrive. The murderers kill Banquo, but luckily for Fleance, he manages to escape. And in escaping, he keeps the prophecy that Banquo received as valid. Now, this isn't a particularly long scene, and there's not a great amount to get at in it, but there is some really nice use of light-dark imagery. And if you were going to talk about light-dark imagery with any other character, I think this could be a really good scene to reference, because I really doubt that many other students are going to do so. Okay, but before we go through the annotation, let's have a listen to the scene.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth!
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices. All we have to do to the direction just.
Well, stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely end.
Hark! I hear horses.
It's the light there, ho!
Then 'tis he. His horses go about!
Almost a mile, but he does, usually. So all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
A light. A light.
'Tis he. Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Treachery! Fly! Fly! Thou mayest revenge! Oh, slave! Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way.
There's but one down! The sun is fled!
We've lost best half of our affair.
Let's away and see how much is done.
Okay, so let's have a look at some of this annotation. So the overall idea with this scene is that it explores the conflict between light and dark and good and bad. Obviously Banquo represents light and good, and the killers represent dark and bad. And by extension, because the killers are there because of Macbeth, that shows, Macbeth right now is dark and bad. The structure of the language in this scene is that the murderers now are using iambic pentameter. So if you remember before, when the murderers spoke, they spoke just in prose, so it's just regular language. But here, they shift to the same kind of language that Macbeth and Banquo use to show that this is a scene with heightened tension. There is something really dramatic happening here. And also, it's worthwhile noting, if we're monitoring the ways that Macbeth is now murdering, Macbeth is now sending assassins to kill Banquo. This would be seen as a dishonourable way to kill. So if you compare this to how he was murdering at the beginning of the play, when he was killing men on the battlefield, that being a really honourable way to kill, Macbeth has become more and more dishonourable in the way that he's murdering. Really bear that in mind if Macbeth comes up, because as I've said before, we need to focus on changes, and in particular, how Macbeth descends into corruption, madness, violence, all of those kind of things. So let's have a look at some of the imagery. So the murderers are talking about the night, and the first murderer says, "The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day." So this is light dark imagery. He's saying here that darkness is taking over, light is receding, the daytime, when goodness exists, is ending, and nighttime, when evil can come out, is beginning. This could also represent the idea that goodness is fading. And this is an overarching idea, not just about Banquo, that within Scotland, goodness is fading as Macbeth becomes more corrupt, as he does more and more damage to the state. We then hear Banquo far in the distance say, "Give us a light there, ho," symbolising his goodness, symbolising that he is the carrier of light and the carrier of goodness, which in this scene he literally is. We then have another reference to light. When they see Banquo in the distance, the second murderer, a light, a light. Could this be a comment on Banquo's goodness? Could this be a comment on him seeing someone that is good in the distance? Obviously, literally as well, he's talking about Banquo carrying the light. But that image itself is quite metaphorical of Banquo being the person to carry goodness in these really difficult times in Scotland. We then have a little bit of foreshadowing around Banquo's murder, and indeed in the version we listened to, there was thunder, a lot of kind of pathetic fallacy, a lot of foreshadowing that something bad is going to happen. But when Banquo says it will be rain tonight, this could be foreshadowing his death, but rain could also be seen to symbolise tears. Is he saying that Scotland is going to weep tonight, or that Fleance himself is going to weep tonight because he's going to be dead? We then see the first murderer striking out the light to show that this is the end of goodness, that he represents the darkness that's going to consume that goodness. And then finally we have the death of Banquo, which symbolises the death of light and goodness, as I said already. We then have a couple more references to striking out the light, and then a nice homophone towards the end where he says the sun is fled. Now this indicates that Fleance has gotten away, but sun, with Shakespeare, homophones are really quite prevalent. Sun could also refer to the sun, as in the sun in the sky, showing once more that the murderers are ending light, that they are ending goodness. Okay, finally, the scene ends with no heroic couplet. Now, as I've said before, in scenes that end with no heroic couplet, this could indicate a loss of control. The murderers very much have lost control of the situation. They haven't killed Fleance, they haven't completed all of Macbeth's orders, but at the same time, in murdering Banquo, they're further facilitating the loss of control of Scotland that Macbeth is kind of enacting. It could also indicate that there has been no honour, and certainly with the murder of Banquo, there is no honour in this killing. It is sneaky, it is against a friend, it's all the things that Macbeth as a soldier at the beginning of the play, I think, would have stood against. Remembering Macbeth at the beginning of the play was loyal. He was loyal to Duncan, he was loyal to Banquo. So that was Act 3, Scene 3. I hope you found that useful, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.